Hello. Today's presentation is entitled Winning Time. This training series will dive into the numerous roles and responsibilities of basketball officials when our contest is still in doubt and there is 1 to 2 minutes to go in regulation and potentially subsequent overtime periods. We will perform a deep dive into game situations where a team is playing for the win or a team is playing for the tie. In this particular training series, we will analyze the following: philosophy, our awareness, game factors, and plays. We're going to talk about philosophy. What are the things that should guide us as a crew? Under 2 minutes to go in regulation and any subsequent overtime periods, we must be perfect. This is not optional. We must be perfect such that we must get all of our plays right. Therefore, to achieve this, the entire court now becomes everyone's primary. Now, we still, as officials, have our primary coverage areas and our secondary coverage areas. And again, we must give the covering official the first crack at a ruling in his or her primary coverage area, but we must be prepared to be strong in our secondary coverage area. Again, we must get our plays right. And we can never, and let me emphasize this, never, never, never over communicate during live balls, during dead balls. Now we're going to talk about awareness. What should we be aware of? Score, the game clock, the shot clock if applicable, foul counts, timeouts, key players' statuses, ball location. If the ball is dead and out of bounds before the ball is put at the disposal of the thrower in. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this. Any official who tells you that score, clock, time and situation is not important is lying to you. They are always, always important. They don't mean that you kick a rule. That don't mean that you ignore something that's illegal. It simply means that it is important. For example, in the image here, we have a tie ball game with less than 6 seconds to go in regulation. Miami has 2 timeouts remaining. Syracuse has no timeouts remaining. The possession arrow favors Syracuse. If Miami fouls again, Syracuse will shoot the 1-1 given the rule set of this being an NCAA men's contest. If Syracuse fouls Miami, then we will not be shooting free throws, assuming that we're talking about a common foul. Game factors. What are some of the game factors that can play a part in winning time? What type of fouls have we called thus far in the contest? Have we had a bunch of block charge plays? Have we had hits? Have we had tripping fouls? Have we had pushes? Have we had similar types of fouls on one team and a similar type of fouls on another team? What types of violations have we called thus far? And the most classic example I can give you, if we go on an entire contest without a 3 second in the lane call, it probably would not be ideal as given in the image that we see below, that we should have a 3 second call inserted with this little time remaining in regulation. Who's in foul trouble? Is it a starter? Is it a star player? Or is it someone who has just decided to pick up fouls very easily throughout our contest? Have we had to disqualify or reject anyone due to fouls, Or have we had to disqualify or eject anyone for a reason other than picking up their fifth foul in most rule sets? And if we're talking professionally, the sixth foul. Have we had any technical, intentional, or flagrant fouls in our contest? These are things that we should be aware of as we get to winning time. Plays. What play types do teams attempt to run and execute in winning time? Or, more specifically, what plays end up happening in winning time, be it intentional or unintentional? Some of the plays that may intentionally or unintentionally happen in winning time are rebounding plays, fast break plays, plays where we're shooting free throws, isolation plays, blobs, which are baseline out of bounds plays. For officials, the baseline work we call the end line, or slobs, which are sideline out of bounds plays. Slobs and slobs are terms that you often will hear coaches use when describing plays. Let's consider some factors and things to be aware of. If we have a play in winning time where a shot is missed and we have rebounding, is the team that secures the rebound, are they up or down in the contest? Do they have timeouts? Are we in a situation where the rebounding team will be, and I put in quotation marks, intentionally fouled by the opposing team? Those are all things to consider with rebounding. Who has the possession arrow? If we're not talking about professional leagues where they will have a jump ball if we have a hell ball situation. What about fast breaks? Is our offense up or down in the contest? Or is the contest tied? Is our offense taking an uncontested layup or dunk or plan to use the clock? If they're down and they make an uncontested layup or dunk, will they call a timeout if they have any timeouts at their disposal? Free throws. Is the offense up or down in the contest? Will made free throws tie the game, put a team up in the game, or turn the game into a one possession game? Or will it turn it into a two possession game? Does either team have timeouts? They can call timeouts after the ball becomes dead. Isolation. Is the ball handler dribbler in an isolation play planning to take a shot or set up a teammate? Does our offense need a two or three? Does our offense have any timeouts? And again, if they make the shot, will they use a timeout? Blobs. Is the blob play being run for the thrower in or a teammate of the thrower in? Do they have any timeouts if they are unable to inbound the ball? Do they have any timeouts if they make the shot? Is there enough time for a dribble and or shot? And with slobs, we consider similar things to blobs. Is the play being run for the thrower in or teammate of the thrower in? Does the offense have any timeouts if they make the shot? Do they have any timeouts if they are unable to inbound the ball within 5 seconds? Is there enough time on the game clock for a dribble and or shot? We have acquired a great deal of knowledge that should help us in winning time. So now we're going to bring all of our newfound knowledge together and look at some plays.
2 seconds left. The Cavs are out of timeouts. They have to go 94 feet. Strus from midcourt. Oh! Do you believe this? Whoa! goodness. Max Strus from midcourt has won it for the Cavaliers. And this is what he does. At the end of the ball game, the Cavs needed to go all the way in 2 seconds. Strus from well behind midcourt. Perfect.
Can you believe that?
Just sit back and enjoy it, Cleveland. He was red hot down the stretch. Strus with a jugular, and the Cavaliers win the game.
So in this particular play, we had the team in red being the Cavaliers who were down in the contest. We have a block play with the clock stop based on the rule set, this being the NBA rule set. The things that we should have considered as officials is that neither team had a timeout. Both teams are in the double bonus. The team in red has the use of the entire side in line. The amount of time on the clock may allow a dribble or two and a shot attempt, and the shot clock is not applicable in this scenario. So usually with blobs or slobs, the most dangerous person is the person who is inbounding the basketball. Some other things we should consider as a crew: which official will end up with the last second shot, which official or officials will have the game clock, and if we have a shot attempt which is contested and contains a closeout by a defender, do we do a good job of staying connected with the shooter? In this particular play, there was enough time for the throw-in to throw the ball legally inbounds. The ball was passed back to the player who was originally the thrower in, who had time for a dribble and a three-point shot attempt. Our center official on this play did a great job of positioning himself where he had time to stay connected with the shooter, the closeout defender, and the potential contest of the shot. And our other two officials did a great job of positioning themselves where they could see the game clock and the backboard to ensure that the shot was released before the expiration of time. Let's look at another play.
Martin looking. Here's Clark. She fires, and it goes! She hit it! Wow!
Screen, another screen, more McNeil trying to get around, runs into Sonato, and just look at that, off balance, going to the right. Doesn't matter if everyone knows whose hands it's supposed to be in. Magic happens when magic happens, and we've seen it a lot with Caitlin Clark.
And a legendary career adds another page in the legend. And a legendary career adds another page in the legend.
In this particular play, which is a slob or a sideline out of bounds play with the clock stopped as we are coming out of a timeout, we should be aware of the following things. Iowa had no timeouts. Indiana has one timeout. Both teams are in the double bonus. The amount of time on the clock may allow a dribble or two and a shot attempt. Shot clock is not applicable in this situation, and Iowa has the possession arrow. Again, as with most out of bounds plays, usually the most dangerous person is the person who is inbounding the basketball. But if we've done our homework on this game, then we should know that Iowa's probably trying to design a play for their best player, Caitlin Clark. So as a crew, we should know that one of our officials should have the last second shot, and the other official or officials should have the game clock. Do we stay connected with the shooter if the shot gets off prior to the expiration of time? Do we know who the star is? Is the play designed for the star player? In this play, our crew did an excellent job throughout the entirety of this play. Our trail official had double duty here. Our trail official was not only administering the throw in, but the play was run such that the shot attempt was taken in our trail's primary coverage area. So our trail had responsibility for the throw in, the legality of the throw in, the shooter, the closeout defenders, and the contest. The other two officials had responsibility for a clock. Now, seeing as our trail was slightly behind the shooter in this play, our other two officials should be ready to assist our trail with the closeout defenders and the contest. And our trail, because of his or her angle, was in excellent position to see that there was still time on the clock after the shot attempt was released before the expiration of time. Let's look at another play.
Freeze, the ball is in her hands. Gerard pulls up, banks it in and ties it up. Arkansas, no timeouts. Here comes Daniels for the three, and she banks it in! Michaela Daniels banks in the three at the buzzer to give Arkansas the victory. Well, let's take a look at both baskets. An unbelievable series of events here at Bud Walton. Gerard hits the three right back down the court. Daniels, 1 second left, drills it. Oh my, I don't know if I've ever seen back-to-back threes like that.
So this particular play started with a baseline out of bounds. Each team will have the use of the entire end line. Your team had a timeout. Both teams are in the double bonus. Shot clock is off. And we started this clip with Vanderbilt, the team in black, needing a three to tie the game. Given the rule set of NCAA women, the clock will stop on a made goal. And the team in black, Vanderbilt once again, has the possession arrow. So some things we should also consider is because Vanderbilt was trailing by 3 at the start of this video, would Arkansas potentially foul Vanderbilt prior to them getting up a shot to send them to the free throw line for 2 so they could not potentially score 3 points on the 3-point shot attempt? That is something we must consider. So usually in these situations, the most dangerous person is the thrower, the person who is inbounding the ball. So we must be ready to decide which officials will have the last second shot, which official or officials will have the game clock. If we have a shot attempt which is contested by closeout defenders, are we staying connected with our shooters? Do we know who our stars are? Will our stars be taking these last second shots? Our officials in this play did a great job of hustling and being in excellent position to cover both 3-point shots, having great coverage on the throw-ins, and having great coverage on not necessarily the pressure, but the defense by both teams covering the entire court. Let's look at another play.
Again with ball in his hands, in the paint, floater, short, got it back, ties it with 3. Gonzaga has time to do something. Suggs for the win. Oh, yes! Unbelievable! Unbelievable! The perfect season remains on go.
Are you? Oh my God! There is. There are onions, Jim, and then there are nature. Onions with a kiss.
In this play, we are going to have rebounding action and a block play. Things we must know going into the situation is that UCLA has no timeouts. Gonzaga has 1 timeout. Both teams are in a 1-and-1 bonus, given that this is the NCAA men. Shot clock is not applicable here. UCLA needs a 2 to tie or a 3 to take the lead. Given the rule set, the clock will stop on a made goal, and UCLA has the possession arrow. What was the score at the beginning of this clip? The score was UCLA 88, Gonzaga 90. We must also know that as well. When UCLA takes the initial shot is missed, and we have an offensive rebound by UCLA, which is put back for a made goal. The first great thing that our officiating crew did not do, which sometimes we as officials have a habit of doing, is retreating before we knew who had team control and player control of the rebound. In this case, we had an offensive rebound by UCLA, which was put back for a made goal. Now we have a block play. Gonzaga decided that they didn't want to call a timeout to draw up a last-second shot play for a win. They decided to play it out. So our officials did a great job of covering the entire court because UCLA played defense on Gonzaga for the entire court. So we ended up with a secondary fast break. So we must know prior to all this which official has the last second shot, which official or officials have the game clock. If we have a shot in which we have closeout defender or defenders who try to contest the shot, do we stay connected with our shooters? Do we know who our stars are? Will our stars be taking these shots in winning time? And once again, our officiating crew did an excellent job in winning time. Let's take a look at another play.
Sullinger event on Cameron Davis. Number 1 in goal to the man with the ball.
10 to shoot. Sullinger in the lane. No. Hornby puts it up and in. 6 seconds to go. Kent State a 1-point lead. And a foul on Rollins. And it'll be a 1-and-1 free throw for Akron. No. Why is Rollins fouling?
Julius Rollins did not know time and score. And fouled on the play. Reached out and fouled.
Wow. What a miscue.
We're going to use 2 slides for this play because there is so much to this entire sequence. And no big deal. Only the MAC championship is on the line and a berth in the NCAA tournament. So what do we have to know going into this particular situation? The team in goal, which is Kent State, needs a made goal to take the lead. Each team has a timeout. Kent State is in the double bonus. Akron is in the 1-and-1 bonus. Possession arrow favors Kent State. Given the rule set of being NCAA men, the clock will stop on a made goal. Shot clock is not applicable. This is a case in winning time where we should always be prepared for the unexpected. Yes, common sense would tell you not to foul with the lead unless it is a potential situation where fouling will put a team on the free throw line and they still cannot potentially take the lead or tie the game even with made free throws. So our officials were excellent in recognizing the quote-unquote intentional foul. And because this unexpected development happened of a foul by Kent State, even though they had the lead, we have a whole new set of circumstances that we must consider in winning time. So let's look to see how this game concluded.
Puts it up and in. 6 seconds to go. Kent State a 1-point lead. And a foul on Rollins. And it'll to be a 1-and-1 free throw for Akron. No! Why is Rollins fouling?
Julius Rollins did not know time and score.
Shooter to shoot the 1-and-1. Tie game.
And the balance, Greg Triple.
Got it. Off the front of the rim and in. Akron takes a timeout. They lead it by 1 with 4.8 seconds to go.
And the ball will
4.8 seconds to go, Coach.
The ball will go right back to Sullinger. Here he is.
4 seconds. Sullinger. For the win. No! Akron escapes. And they're headed.
There is a lot to unpack in these final few seconds of this particular contest. So, following the foul by Kent State, here are the things that we must consider. Each team has a timeout. Kent State is in the double bonus. Akron is in the 1-and-1 bonus. So we will be shooting the 1-and-1 bonus as a result of the foul by Kent State. Again, possession arrow favors Kent State. We know that the clock will stop on a made goal. And Akron, prior to the free throw or free throws, needs 1 free throw make to tie, 2 to take the lead. Prior to the administration of the free throws is an excellent opportunity for our officials to communicate with one another. Here are the things that they probably should communicate. Who will have the last second shot if we come to a last second shot? Who will have the game clocks? We know that shot clocks are not a factor. Where's the bonus situation for each team? Does either team have a timeout? After Akron hits both free throws, notice I believe it was our trail official immediately recognized Akron wanted a timeout to set up their defense. This is excellent recognition by our trail official who probably had communication with the coach or who looked over to the coach's bench to see if they wanted a timeout, to know that a timeout was being requested. So coming out of the timeout, where's the ball? The ball will now be on the end line, and Kent State will have the entire use of the end line for the block play. There's enough time for a few dribbles and a potential shot. Remember, on inbound plays, be it from the inline or sideline, usually the most dangerous person that's left open is the person inbounding the ball, the thrower in. In this case, after the ball is legally passed inbounds, the thrower in received the basketball and was able to take dribbles and attempt the last second shot. A defender closed out on our shooter and attempted to contest the shot. Our lead official did a great job of making a position adjustment to ensure that the shot, the ball handler dribbler, and our closeout defender was covered. This is a great job by our officiating crew. Let's look at another play.
Out of there, slips for 3 in the win. Rebound, Johnson. Oh! Johnson has hit 2 enormous threes. This one's good if it goes. Oh, dude! Holy cow!
In this classic game, we start this clip in the third overtime. The game is tied. We must know our score. UConn has no timeouts. Cincinnati has 1 timeout. Seeing as how overtime are an extension of our second half, both teams obviously are in the double bonus. Possession arrow favors Cincinnati. Given the rule set, the clock will stop on a made goal. And when we start this video, UConn needs any type of score to take the lead. A 2-point make, a 3-point make, or any free throws to take the lead, and shot clock is not applicable. After UConn takes the lead, the clock is stopped. Cincinnati could have taken the timeout. They chose not to. They had the entire inline on the block play because UConn has made the three-point goal. There's just enough time under 1 second as the clock is at 0.8 seconds for a shot. Probably not enough time for a dribble and a shot. Shot clock is not a factor. Again, our officials must be prepared real time very quickly of covering the last shot and covering the game clock to ensure that a potential shot gets off in time prior to the expiration of time. Cincinnati needed a 3 to tie. UConn could have potentially fouled them, sent them to the line for potentially 2 made free throws, which will still have kept UConn in the lead. As we know from watching this clip, Cincinnati makes the 3-point goal just in time before the clock expired to send this classic game to a fourth overtime. Let's look at another play.
Six seconds left. Tap to the Blazers. Loose ball to Lillard. A three for the win.
Oh, my goodness. You gotta be kidding me.
Lillard hits the three, and the Blazers.
A winning time play from the NBA. So before we get into the things we have to consider, let's talk about our crew. Going into this very important jump ball, does either team have a timeout? Will we have a last second shot to consider depending on who possesses the jump ball? Which officials will have the game clock? And if we have a game tying or game winning shot, will we stay connected with our shooter and any potential closeout defenders? Now, what are the things we have to consider prior to the start of this very important jump ball? We must know that if Chicago wins it, Portland's probably going to foul them because Chicago is up by 2. If Portland wins it, then you would suspect that they would want the ball in the hands of their superstar, Damian Lillard. We know Portland is down by 2 and they need a 2 to tie or 3 to take the lead and potentially win the game. And even though we don't see it in this video clip, let's assume that given the rule sets that both teams are in the double bonus. Even more challenging in this play is the official administering the jump ball. If Portland wins this, he becomes the trail official. How does he come away from the jump ball circle and still be in great position to cover the potential game-winning shot by Damian Lillard? So our crew should be prepared to help our potential trail official cover this game-winning shot. Again, we can never over-communicate too much in a ball game. Our crew in this case did an excellent job of covering this game-winning shot by Damian Lillard following this humongous jump ball. Let's take a look at one last play.
Against South Carolina. Can they finish it off here? Gamecocks have no timeouts. .3.
There is so much to this very important play in the SEC tournament semifinal that we're going to use 2 slides to cover this. So prior to the free throws, here are the things that our officiating crew must consider. Tennessee has 2 timeouts. South Carolina has none. Huge to know. The possession arrow favors South Carolina. Even more important to know, Tennessee has 2 fouls to give before the double bonus. And Tennessee will shoot free throws on any common foul, which is not a player control foul or team control foul, by South Carolina. If one free throw is made, it puts Tennessee up by 3. If both free throws are made, this is a 2-possession game and potentially could be out of reach. Not out of reach necessarily, but potentially could be out of reach with a 2-possession game. If Tennessee makes 1 or 2 free throws, they have fouls to give. Would they use both their fouls to give and foul again a third time to keep South Carolina from shooting a potential game tying 3 or a 3 to make it a 1-possession game? Let's see how this game ended.
Seven for Wiley. She's fouled by Spear, no shot.
Wiley tried to get in the act of shooting, but that foul was on the floor.
That was a smart play by Joel Spear. So South Carolina will have to inbound again. They don't have a timeout. Dawn Staley is trying to quickly talk to her team with 1.1.
And Tennessee still has 1 foul to give, but they don't need to foul.
Cardoso for 3. Banks it in! A miracle for the Gamecocks!
What a play. After the missed free throws by Tennessee and the rebound for South Carolina, let's consider the following. Again, Tennessee has 2 timeouts. South Carolina has no timeouts. Position arrow favors South Carolina. Tennessee has 2 fouls to give before the double bonus. South Carolina needs a 2 to tie or 3 to win. So Tennessee smartly uses one of their fouls to give. Now we have 1.1 seconds remaining in regulation. What do we need to consider at this particular point during this dead ball? Statements 1, 2, and 4 from above that we mentioned earlier. Where's the ball? That's the most important thing in winning time when the ball becomes dead if we're not shooting free throws. The ball location. Given that the foul occurred in the back court, the ball would be placed at the nearest spot of the foul. In this case, it's at near the division line in the backcourt. South Carolina has time for maybe a dribble and a shot. Who's going to take the last shot for South Carolina if they get the ball in? Will Tennessee use their other foul to give? And what is our officials' coverage on the game clock and the last shot by South Carolina? Our officials did an excellent job in this entire sequence in winning time. In winning time, we must be at our very best as basketball officials, especially in the last 1 to 2 minutes of a basketball contest, be it regulation and any subsequent overtime periods. We must use our rules knowledge, common sense, and information we have gathered from the current contest to ensure we get every play correct in the last 1 to 2 minutes of regulation and overtime, especially when the game is still in doubt. Lastly, we must find every opportunity to communicate and over communicate with our partners to ensure that everyone takes away from the contest that it was a well officiated contest from a great crew of officials. We would like to give thanks to Slides Carnival and Unsplash for the use of the photographs and this particular presentation template. Do you have any questions? Feel free to email me at the email address listed in this particular slide. We thank you for spending part of your day with us. We hope you gained some valuable knowledge and insight from this particular training series presentation entitled Winning Time. Have a great day, a great week, a great month, a great year, a great season.